here at the littlehouseofhorrors.com is a story entitled Chillingham Castle. And the author begins, Chillingham Castle is said to be the most haunted castle in England. More than 100 ghosts are said to haunt it. It was built as a monastery before 1246. It later transformed into a castle. You'll find the castle in Northumberland, near the Scottish border. King Edward I used it as accommodations in 1298, while heading for his fight with William Braveheart Wallace. It's a place of war, torture, and death. And we're going to be starting at John Sage, the ruthless executioner. Whoa. There's something written at the top of that chair. There's spikes on the seat, by the way. And cuffs for your hands. Visitors are requested, please not to use this chair, as it is very old and delicate. And yeah, I guess. Would want to sit on nails anyway. I mean, yeah, don't do that. Chillingham Castle has a very bloody history. Many Scottish people have met their end here, most of them by the hands of a man named John Sage. He was nicknamed John Dragfoot, or Butcher of the Scots. John Sage was a cold-blooded and ruthless torturer and executioner who had the time of his life in his torture chamber. He hated the Scottish, and he was a frustrated man. As a lieutenant, he got badly injured in the leg. As a result, he was not able to fight anymore. He tortured more than 50 people a week for a period of 3 years. He probably tortured and killed over 1,000 people at the castle. The torture chamber, which is open to the public, contains all of Sage's toys. However, you need to bear in mind that this is not the original torture chamber. The real torture chambers are located underneath the tea room, the castle's restaurant. They were sealed off from the public after a seance was performed there. The seance had a terrifying ending, so to keep the danger inside, it was closed up. Human remains are still down there. Sage's torture devices were the wheel, the Iron Maiden, the iron chair, and of course the rack. The rack was used to stretch someone until their joints popped. Some claim they hear the sound of popping joints when they stand next to the device. But Sage also liked to impale, boil, and starve his victims to death. He even invented a torture device, a barrel filled with iron nails inside. The victim would be placed in there and rolled all the way down to the other side of the torture chamber. In this way, the victim was skinned alive. And the floor of the chamber was sloping to allow blood to drain more easily. The courtyard. At the end of the Scottish-English War, the English needed to get rid of the remaining prisoners. They made a huge fire in the courtyard and burned all the men, women, and older children alive before the eyes of the younger children. After this, the tots were taken back into Chillingham Castle, where they were hacked to their death in King Edward's room. John Sage was later publicly hanged. Because he was so deeply hated, the public cut off his fingers, his toes, his nose, his lips, and his genitals, while he was still struggling for breath. Disembodied voices and full-bodied apparitions have been seen wandering the courtyard. Even the ghost of John Sage himself is said to haunt it. the Pink Room. The Pink Room is a private room today and is the residence of the current owners, but the room is very haunted. The skeletal remains of a young boy were discovered here during renovation work. The boy's fingers and fingernails were broken, which indicates he was bricked into the wall alive. His spirit is now known as the Blue Boy. He appears from the wall. Before he visits, a blue halo presents itself. The Blue Boy is very friendly, and he is a much-loved ghostly resident of Chillingham Castle. What a name for a haunted castle, Chillingham. The Room of King Edward. King Edward's room is the room in which many young children were hacked to their deaths after the Scottish-English War was over. They killed the tots because they were afraid they would retaliate later. A dark, malevolent spirit resides in this room. The spirit is very violent and aggressive, and has attacked several people. The ghost of Lady Mary Berkeley. Lady Mary Berkeley is still looking for her adulterous husband. He took off with her sister. The rustling sound of a long skirt is heard before she appears. Footsteps and whispers are heard. Cold spots are felt. And sometimes people get pushed down the stairs. The chapel. The chapel is a highly active room. 3 human skeletons were found here. 2 of them were found under the glass-stained window, and 1 was found in the back corner underneath the floorboards. That skeleton belonged to a little girl. No one can tell who she was or what happened to her, but her spirit likes to interact with people. She likes to communicate to female visitors, and she's known for playing with their hair. People feel overcome with sadness when they sit on top of the place where she was found.